evening and welcome to your Monday, December 1, 2025 edition of the Evening News. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for joining us. Let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. Police constable caught on camera threatening to shoot civilians with AK-47 under close arrest. Minister has no role as tiebreaker in Region 10 chairmanship elections, says MANICKCHAND. 75,000 fine for illegal tint, cops to be equipped with meters for testing, says WALROND. President Ali to soon unveil 5-year developmental plan for citizens. Vessel transporting Venezuelan migrants intercepted in ESSEQUIBO, and Guyana stands firm at UN seeks leverage in Venezuela border controversy, says RODRIGUES-BIRKETT. Now for the news in detail. Local Government and Regional Development Minister MANICKCHAND has emphasized that she has no authority to break the tie in the Region 10 chairmanship deadlock, expressing instead that she hopes the matter is resolved in accordance with the law. Davina Samaru has the details in this report.
The minister no longer has a role to determine who's going to become the chairman if you have a tie. There's a process, and that process has to be engaged.
Minister of Local Government and Regional Development MANICKCHAND during a radio interview with Gordon Mosley on Monday. Region 10 currently does not have a sworn-in chairman due to an ongoing political stalemate following the October 2025 RDC elections. The internal RDC election for the position ended in a 9-9 tie. The candidates were Mark Goring of the We Invest in Nationhood Party and Dominic Blair of the Partnership for National Unity. Under Section 20 of the Local Democratic Organs Act as amended by the Local Authorities Elections Amendment Act of 2018, if the first vote ends in a tie, the clerk must immediately put the tied candidates into a second vote. If the second vote also ties, the clerk must immediately put those same candidates into a third vote. If the third vote still ties, the clerk must record how each councillor voted. After recording the votes, the clerk must calculate the numeric seat value for each councillor who came from a proportional representation list. These seat values are then added to whichever candidate each councillor supported. The candidate whose supporters have the highest total seat value must be declared the elected chairperson.
I hope that they do that shortly.
But somebody's going to be in charge of the process. There's
a clerk, and the clerk would have to be in charge of that process.
But he's reporting somebody because he's not calling any other meeting. So he's reporting to somebody. Why isn't he calling any meeting that you try to find out, Mr. Clerk? Why aren't you moving this process forward?
I have no doubt Region 10 is going to have their process moved forward with, and a chair and vice chair will be determined. Sometimes it's far more than you see on the surface. I think the parties there have their own issues going on.
Some reports have been indicating that it is the minister who holds the power as tiebreaker, but MANICKCHAND highlighted that the law was amended since 2018 and for good reason.
It was right to remove the role because here you have a politically partisan minister who is going to go into a place to tiebreak. How do you think that's going to work? It's not even if the minister is fair. It's that it would have appeared unfair. And justice must appear to be fair.
While chairpersons for the other 9 administrative regions were sworn in by President Dr. Irfan Ali on November 27th, no representatives from Region 10 were present at the ceremony because the election process remains incomplete. Commenting on the deadlock, President Ali had expressed confidence that within the ambit of the Constitution and within the ambit of the rules of any elections, that the chair and vice chair of Region 10 will be sworn in at the appropriate time when the region concludes their elections. According to the official gazette, following the 2025 general and regional elections, the distribution of seats in Region 10 is as follows: Win with 9 seats, APNU with 5 seats, PPPC with 3 seats, and Forward Guyana with 1 seat. Reporting for the Evening News, Davina Samaru.
Harris Trichel Sobers, who reports that under the government's new TINT policy, vehicle owners and operators found in breach can now face fines of up to $75,000. This is according to Minister of Home Affairs Onij WALROND, who noted that the police officers will now be equipped with special TINT meters, which they will be required to use during any enforcement campaigns on the roadway.
On Friday, Home Affairs Minister WALROND had announced that with immediate effect, there will be a universal provision for basic tint without waiver, which stipulates that all motor vehicles will now be allowed tint with no less than 35% light penetration. Windshields will be allowed 70% light penetration. This applies across the board and does not require any tint waiver. However, restricted waivers for high security categories will be introduced. Categories 1 and 2 will apply strictly to diplomats, government officials, high-profile security-related persons, and other specific categories expressly approved by the Minister of Home Affairs. To support an orderly transition, motor vehicle operators are granted a compliance period up to December 31, 2025. After this date, the Guyana Police Force, GPF, will commence aggressive nationwide enforcement operations. Expanding on this new policy during a state-produced program, Minister WALROND disclosed that the laws will be amended to provide a fine of $75,000 for those found in breach.
There will be tint meters. The police officer will have specific meters to test your tint on the spot. And if you're found not to be in compliance, then there will be a heavy fine, $75,000 being levied for not having your tint in compliance. We will go take the amendment to Parliament. In the amendment, we will outline the regime and on which how we're going to execute the compliance. We will outline the categories of persons that will be exempt from the tint, which I've already mentioned, diplomats and government officials and security, etc. It will outline how enforcement will be rolled out in terms of the tint meter, how that is be calibrated, how that's going to be executed, the fine period for the fine. So it's going to outline the entire regime, compliance and enforcement in the amendment.
Excellent.
And it's most of it is already drafted with a few adjustments that we have already made.
WALROND had previously explained that this decision was made having conducted a comprehensive evaluation of the system and following consultations with the Guyana Police Force and other technical experts. Additionally, she said it was in the interest of equity and to eliminate administrative delays. During the DPI program, she expounded on the issues that were taken into consideration, including crime and climate change.
When we examined it, we realized that there really was the issues that we thought was connected to the having a tint on the vehicle, which is encouraging crime. We realized that the data did not correlate, that it did not substantiate the fact that if you have a tint on your vehicle, that you are likely to be involved in criminal activity. And also, in addition to the fact that with the climate change and UV exposure, realizing that being open and being exposed to UV exposure was in fact unhealthy. Yeah. And so there was no basis of which we could hold back not giving citizens the permission to have tint on their vehicles.
Vehicle owners and operators are being encouraged to get themselves in compliance during this period, since strict enforcement will begin in January 1.
In the interim, the Guyana Police Force is expected to forbear on all enforcement to get people this grace period to comply. Thereafter, after the 31st, then the strict enforcement will commence.
Trishelle Sobers, Evening News.
Let's now tell you that in light of a video circulating on social media showing an officer attached to the Port Kaituma police station brandishing an AK-47 in public, the Guyana Police Force stated that it has launched an investigation into the incident. The video, which was released on various social media platforms, showed a drunken Constable Henry dressed in civilian attire threatening to shoot and kill civilians. The incident reportedly occurred on Friday evening in the early hours of Saturday, November 29, 2025. 2025. However, the GPF stated that Commissioner of Police Clifton Hicken has immediately ordered a thorough investigation into the incident. As such, Constable Henry was placed under close arrest, and the Office of Professional Responsibility was instructed to investigate the matter. A release from the police stated that the contents of the video form part of the ongoing investigation, which will determine the full extent of both disciplinary and criminal actions to be taken. At this point, it is unclear how the rank gained access to the weapon and if there are any official records that he uplifted the high-profile firearm. Highlighting that Guyana's growth trajectory is now firing up, President Irfan Ali explained that in 2026, citizens can expect the economy to double as he prepares to unveil a new 5-year national development strategy. The president noted that the long-term plan will map out major investments in infrastructure, job creation, and expanding local industries, signaling what he describes as a pivotal period for sustained economic transformation. Trishelle Sobers has the details in this report.
President Dr. Irfan Ali signaled a new phase of accelerated national expansion Saturday night, telling an audience of industry leaders that Guyana's economic transformation is now firing up as he prepares to unveil a 5-year national development roadmap in the coming days. Delivering keynote remarks at the Guyana Oil and Gas Energy Chamber Annual Awards dinner on Saturday evening, the president framed the government's upcoming plan as the country's most comprehensive infrastructure and economic integration agenda yet, one that transcends oil wealth and moves Guyana into a future defined by tourism, digitization, global partnerships, and a more competitive workforce.
These are just a light example, the appetizer of the scale of infrastructure that we have to build out in the next 5 years. In the coming days, I will be outlining with great clarity this economic expansion, infrastructure integration, and development trajectory of our country in the next 5 years, for the next 5 years. So I believe tonight in this room, there must be a level of awareness, because this journey that we're on is now getting fired up. It is now getting fired up. But we are not only injecting fuel on this leg of the transformation.
According to the Guyanese leader, the nation is entering a period where economic diversification and technological modernization must evolve in tandem with the booming oil and gas sector. He noted that requests for expressions of interest have already been launched for 9 major tourism and ecotourism facilities aimed at expanding investment portfolios beyond energy revenues. He also told the audience that efforts are underway to bring major international events to Guyana, while catalytic reforms continue through national digitization programs.
We're already working to have major international events hosted here in Guyana in the coming years. We are already working on the digitization and technological transformation of the economy. And I am so pleased with the pace at which the private sector is changing its culture. You know, today I read, or yesterday, a headline where the banking sector is becoming very aggressive internally. One bank challenging persons to move over with them for lower interest on loans, reduced collateral, and expedited processing. And that is because I believe the private sector has unlocked historic nuances that capture the thinking of the private sector in a mode of complaining. To today, a private sector that is innovative, driven, results-focused, and highly motivated. And I congratulate the private sector for that.
Reflecting on the responsibilities that accompany rapid growth, the president acknowledged that both government and businesses are facing heightened expectations fueled by new wealth, global attention, and public enthusiasm. Describing the present moment as Guyana's golden era, the president said the international spotlight has shifted from curiosity to admiration. Despite optimism, President Ali warned that national development could stall if workforce productivity fails to keep pace with economic needs. He said Guyana must confront a creeping culture of complacency before it undermines the country's competitiveness. Trishelle Sobers, Evening News.
Coming up, vessel transporting Venezuelan migrants intercepted in ESSEQUIBO and jury impaneled for TINT pensioner murder trial. Do stay with us. More news ahead.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, and we're celebrating with big savings on smartphones, starting as low as $16,500 for the Samsung A06 and $26,500 for the Samsung A16 and $40,500 for the A26. But wait, there's more. Get 1 month free data with your new phone to keep you close to loved ones near and far. Offer available while stocks last. Visit a Digicel store today and unwrap the gift of real connections. Digicel.
This Christmas runs on Real Connections with Digicel. The calls, the laughter, the joy, and the chance to pick and win big. We're giving away $12 million. Yes, every week, one lucky Digicel customer gets a chance to win up to $2 million. 6 lucky winners in total. Here's how you get in. Top up with $1,000 or more, or pay your fiber or postpaid bill in full. The more you top up, the more chances you get. Stay connected this Christmas for your chance to win big. Digicel.
Welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. Authorities in Region 2 have intercepted a vessel transporting a group of illegal immigrants from Venezuela. The group was reportedly making their way to Guyana shores when they were intercepted by the Coast Guard. They were brought to Riverstown in Region 2, where they were reportedly being processed. The group includes adults and children. Last year, scores of migrants from Venezuela showed up at the Golden Fleece Beach along the ESSEQUIBO coast in Region 2. They were deported the following day. Meanwhile, back in October 2023, about 80 adults and children from Venezuela were arrested by Guyanese authorities after they illegally arrived at the Tushan Sea Dam, East Bank ESSEQUIBO, via the Atlantic Ocean. In addition, it was reported that the police also seized 242 fighting falls after they were taken off the boat. Presently, over 40,000 Venezuelan migrants are residing in Guyana. However, only about half of that amount is officially documented. Back in June, Chief of Defense Staff Brigadier Omar Khan can, assured the nation that robust security measures are in place to screen and document Venezuelan migrants intercepted at Guyana's borders. We are now joined by Bisham Mohammed, who reports that Guyana's permanent representative to the United Nations, Ambassador Caroline Rodrigues-BIRKETT, remains resolute in ensuring that Guyana is well represented at the United Nations as it has been over the past years. The former Foreign Affairs Minister, however, is optimistic that she can leverage the UN in matters of importance, including the Venezuela border controversy.
Ambassador Caroline Rodrigues-BIRKETT, who appeared on the Starting Point podcast over the weekend, believes that due to the work being done over the years, Guyana is being heard at the United Nations. She nevertheless stated that the Venezuela border controversy remains a top priority for Guyana to push at the United Nations Security Council. But first, she added that even before being a member of the Security Council, Guyana's delegation has been working behind the scenes to educate leaders about the ongoing controversy.
Long before we went on the Security Council, the ministry, the government as a whole, we were working to ensure that countries of the world know what the story is. Because sometimes you have misinformation out there.
Yes.
And the first thing that we had to dismiss with was the fact that Venezuela was claiming and still claims that this is a problem of the colonists. It's a colonial problem. That is not true. Our border was settled in 1899. It was demarcated in 1905. It was accepted by both British Guyana and Venezuela. And it was the case until Venezuela raised it 60 years later through this spurious claim. So that was the first thing we had to dismiss with, so people to know the truth about this.
She added that upon Guyana's ascension to the Security Council, Venezuela opted for their antics and they felt it was necessary to request a meeting with the council, which was granted.
Once we were on the council, Venezuela then had this referendum and all these different things. And so this time we were on the council and we asked for a meeting. And the meeting was a private meeting where Venezuela could attend as well. And so we both spoke in that meeting. And on that occasion, the council issued a statement, which we were very pleased with because it called on the parties, which includes Venezuela, to abide with the ICJ provisional measures that were announced. And because, even though it was a private meeting, the entire UN knew that the council was meeting on Guyana, Venezuela, I think it also gave us a second opportunity while there to let everyone know what was happening. And I can tell you that the support for Guyana and Guyana's position on this is widespread because we have taken the route of international law, going to the ICJ.
She nevertheless strongly believes that the UN Security Council needs to be reformed, while adding it needs to be more representative and democratic.
I said on behalf of Guyana, of course, let us start right here in the Security Council to reform the Security Council and make it more representative and more democratic. You have a Security Council where the entire African continent and Latin America and the Caribbean are not represented in the permanent category. For Africa, it's actually a historical injustice, and that should be fixed. And also, you have a situation where you have overrepresentation by certain geographical groups as well. So we need to look at that. So I agree completely. We need to reform the Security Council.
Guyana joined the United Nations on September 20, 1966, just a few months after gaining independence on May 26, 1966. Since then, Guyana has maintained an active role, including 3 terms, on the United Nations Security Council, 1975 to 1976, 1982 to 1983, and most recently from 2024 to 2025. Bisham Mohammed, The Evening News.
More than 4 years after a contract was awarded to build a school in Region 10, the project remains incomplete, prompting the Minister of Local Government and Regional Development to express disappointment over the delays. Davina Samaru has the details in this report.
In September, less than 24 hours after being sworn in as the new local government and regional development minister, Priya MANICKCHAND hit the ground running with a site visit to the incomplete Bamia Primary School in Region 10, where she had admonished the contractors over the prolonged delays. The $346 million contract for the construction of the Bamia Primary School, which is located just outside of Linden, was awarded to Statement Investment Inc. in November 2021 under the Local Government and Regional Development Ministry. The 20-month project had an initial completion deadline for July 2023. However, the project had encountered a number of delays with several deadline extensions, the most recent being in time for the September 2025 reopening of the new school year. But this was also not done. To date, the project remains incomplete. During her site visit in September, MANICKCHAND had threatened to pull the project from the contractors if they failed to complete the remaining works in a timely manner. Providing an update on the situation during a Go Mosley radio program on Monday, MANICKCHAND said the contractors have assured that only minor works remain.
Contractors there have not finished what they're supposed to do. Up to yesterday, the ministry was there. There's some very minor works left to be done, but we refuse to take a building for the sake of taking a building or a compound or a project so that we could get photographs if we're not completely satisfied that the contractual obligations of the contractors are carried out.
The local government minister explained that while some setbacks are expected and unforeseen circumstances may arise, the delays with the Bamia School project are not acceptable.
This is something contractors across the country are going to have to understand. If you bid for a project, you came and said that you could do this at this cost, in this time, at this quality, and you have to do it. And there's the level of tolerance by the people and government for people who breach those is really, really heavily reduced. I have very little. There are always conditions sometimes that you're willing to hear. You know, shipping took long, or there was some kind of external thing that people didn't have control over. But it can't take as long as this school has taken.
Meanwhile, she expressed hopes that the works will be wrapped up soon and students can benefit from the government's investment in their education.
They have assured me that they too want to get off the site. So I suspect, and my fingers are crossed, that even before school closes, we can get the children into school. But that would require them finishing the work that has to be finished. We're not taking a building that is not finished.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very disappointed in how long they took.
Yeah.
The new school is designed to accommodate a growing student population and will include 44 classrooms, a fully equipped gymnasium, an auditorium, a science laboratory, a music room, a library, smart classrooms, and modern restroom facilities, all aimed at delivering a well-rounded educational experience. Reporting for the Evening News, Davina Samaru.
2 women ages 41 and 55 years old were taken into police custody on Saturday following the discovery of over 100 pounds of ganja during an operation at Section C, Clonbrook, East Coast, Demerara. Police stated that ranks searched the location and found 2 large plastic barrels containing several bulky plastic-wrapped parcels of ganja. At the time, the 2 women were on the premises, and as such, they were escorted to the Cove and John police station along with the suspected cannabis. There, the ganja was weighed and amounted to 51.9 kilograms. Charges are expected to be laid shortly. A 12-member jury was on Monday impaneled to hear the high-profile TINT pensioner murder trial involving 3 quarantine accused of killing an 82-year-old woman during a robbery at her home in 2020. Our Berbice correspondent Andrew Carmichael has the details.
The jury was on Monday impaneled in the Berbice Assizes to hear the murder trial of the 3 men accused of killing TINT pensioner Chandari Budu nearly 5 years ago. The defendants, 35-year-old Dani Ramdani, 29-year-old Kamar Bagodin, and 25-year-old Novendra Chinu appeared before Justice Sandil Kasoon, where the 12 jurors were selected to examine the evidence. When the indictment was read, all three accused pleaded not guilty to the charge, which stated that between June 16 and 17, 2020, they murdered Budu at her Lot 83 TINT settlement home during a robbery. Ramdani and Bangwandin are being represented by attorney-at-law Kevin Morgan, while Chunu is being represented by attorney-at-law Vinay Punwa. Cecilia Corbin will lead the state's case. The matter is expected to commence on Monday, with the prosecution calling one of 12 witnesses, including 8 police officers. The judge is anticipating that a trial will be completed within 3 days. It was reported that Budu, who was 82 at the time of her killing, was found dead in her home following an attack in 2020, a crime that shocked the quiet TINT community and prompted a month-long investigation leading to the arrest of the 3 men now facing trial. Meanwhile, Sanjay Peters, 29, of Quarantine, was released into the custody of his mother after another jury was empaneled to hear the evidence on 2 counts of rape. It is alleged that between July 1st and August 5th, 2018, he raped a 5-year-old boy on separate occasions, knowing it to be a family member. Morgan is representing Peters, while Corbin is representing the state in that matter before Justice Kissoon. The prosecution has 7 witnesses to call, and the judge says the trial will commence on December 4th. Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Berbice River Bridge is scheduled to be closed to vehicular traffic on Tuesday, December 2, 2025 at 13 hours 50 for a period of 1.5 hours.
Chess's Academy play unbeaten to retain Republic Bank title, and Pepsi Hikers dominate finals as Saints, Masters, and Hikers also claim crowns. These and more coming up in this evening's Sportcast, sponsored by MACCORP.
Christmas runs on real connections with Digicel. The calls, the laughter, the joy, and the chance to pick and win big. We're giving away $12 million. Yes, every week, one lucky Digicel customer gets a chance to win up to $2 million. 6 lucky winners in total. Here's how you get in. Top up with $1,000 or more, or pay your fiber or postpaid bill in full. The more you top up, the more chances you get. Stay connected this Christmas for your chance to win big. Digicel.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality? Or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Sadco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store. Located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site Rhymeville.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, and we're celebrating with big savings on smartphones, starting as low as $16,500 for the Samsung A06 and $26,500 for the Samsung A16 and $40,500 for the A26. But wait, there's more. Get 1 month free data with your new phone to keep you close to loved ones near and far. Offer available while stocks last. Visit a Digicel store today and unwrap the gift of real connections. Digicel.
This Christmas runs on real connections with Digicel. The calls, the laughter, the joy, and the chance to pick and win big. We're giving away $12 million. Yes, every week, one lucky Digicel customer gets a chance to win up to $2 million. 6 lucky winners in total. Here's how you get in. Top up with $1,000 or more, or pay your fiber or postpaid bill in full. The more you top up, the more chances you get. Stay connected this Christmas for your chance to win big. Digicel.